Welcome to Guns Gear Network, everyone. I wanted to share something with you. I know a lot of preppers and homesteaders and so forth like using cast iron. And even though it's very non-stick, it is not totally non-stick. Things will stick to it. And today I wanted to address how to clean cast iron. And there's a lot of, I don't want to say myths and misconceptions and stuff about cleaning cast iron, but there's a few rules. The main thing is not scraping off your existing seasoning. You hear a lot of people say that you're not supposed to use dishwashing detergent and so forth. I grew up with great great grandparents that use cast iron, and we've been cleaning cast iron the same way ever since I was a kid, and for generations in my house, and I've never seen or had an issue with the way I do it. So I'll show you a couple little things I use. One of the things I use is a brush, just like this. It also has a little scraper on the back that's built in, that's kind of plastic. And normally what I do is I usually will take dishwashing detergent and just squirt onto the brush. Now you'll hear a lot of people, oh, you're not supposed to use dishwashing detergent. Well, I've never had an issue. And I just wet the brush a little bit, and then I come in here and I wet my pan. I've cooked an egg, and I've let these sit on purpose for a couple days, so it's kind of stuck on pretty good here. So if you'll just take this brush and start scrubbing, you can turn your water on and just start scrubbing. Make sure you get around the corners and around the edges. You can wash out your brush a little bit as you're going. Flip it over, and then I just kind of go around the outer edge like that. And I'm using Dawn dishwashing detergent. I just think it's always done well for me, and never had an issue. And I'm going to show you one here in a few minutes that I did this on purpose. My wife, if you look here, even after that, there's a little stuck on right there. Well, I take this little scraper here and just simply scrape it. It's plastic, so it will not scrape off your seasoning. And then I just go back and keep working it loose. And I've got really hot water on my tap going right now. And so if you look, it's all nice and clean. And I'm going to set that to the side a minute. And this one right here was not really dirty. We had fried I think my wife had fried bacon in this. So it's got a little bacon grease in the bottom. I just simply take and again go around the whole thing. And if you look, that water's turning kind of a brown color, or the suds. That's showing that it's getting that off. Again, I just go around the outer edge and underneath in case anything got on it. And it's hard to get all this on camera, guys, and I apologize. Alright, so if you look, nice and clean. And again, I've never had an issue with, and I'm going to show you this one over here. Alright, so this one here, it may not be able to pick up in the camera, but it is crusty nasty. See if I can get my light on a little better. I'll slide it under here. And if you look, it's got a lot of burn on. And I did this on purpose for you guys. I left it on the stove and let it burn and get really, really stuck. So how do you get that off? Well, I'll show you. I'll set up the camera here. What I do is I turn my stove on. It's kind of medium high. You can turn it all the way to high if you like. You just got to be careful, because if it gets so hot, that will actually burn your seasoning off. So what I do then after I start, it's going to take a few minutes to get this to heat up, but I simply let this pan heat up really nice, and I'll show you what I do. Let's see. go to this side because I was only on the center eye. This thing has got two settings, one for the whole eye or the center eye, and had to get it to the. But another thing I use to help clean is like a wooden spoon. This one actually is a bamboo spoon. Again, you do not want to scrape with metal because that will tear off your, a lot of times scrape off your seasoning that you've created and built up. So take a couple minutes here, guys, to get this pan nice and hot. And I'll show you what I do. So normally what you would do after you cook and everything, and you've got some stuff stuck on like this, once I take the food out, I go ahead and do this process instead of leaving it sitting. But I couldn't film last night after we cooked dinner, and so I decided just to wait and do it today. So the pan would already be hot normally, or at least up to temperature, and then just get it kind of really hot, and then do this process I'm getting ready to show you. And you'll be able to clean your cast iron super easy. It's not real hard. But a lot of people, like I said, misconception that cast iron will not, it's kind of stick free, and that is not 100% the case. It is definitely very resilient to sticking, but it is not stick free totally. So see if this is hot enough. Yeah, see, you see this water boiling? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put just enough water to cover the bottom so the water does not cool the pan. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here and I'm going to take this spoon and I'm going to start working it around. And you'll actually feel it going from rough to smooth. And what it's doing is it's boiling up and breaking loose all that stuck on stuff. And I can feel it already starting to get smooth, and this stuff is coming loose. But that was really stuck on, and plus it sat overnight in not water, it just sat on top of my stove here. And once you start feeling the surface get smooth again, I'll show you, we'll take it over to the sink and finish it up. And a lot of times I'll just add a little more water to float it. And what I'm doing is I'm floating all this stuff out. Alright, so let's see if we've got it pretty good here. And we're going to take it over to the sink again. So I'm going to dump that out. Turn on my hot water. Same process as before. I'm going to put a little dishwashing detergent on my pan, on my brush, and I'm going to start scrubbing it. And if you look, it was really dirty. And you can take that scraper I told you about, and you can go around it a couple times just to make sure you got it all off. Get it back down to the smooth surface. I'm going to rinse my brush here. Keep scrubbing. Alright, then a lot of times what I'll do when it's that bad, I'll go ahead and rinse it and see what it looks like. And one way you can tell your seasoning is still there and still working, you see that water bead up like it's oil almost. And that's the seasoning on it. Then I give it one final scrub. And we use cast iron pretty much every day. Another misconception about cast iron is you can't use it on a smooth top range. Well, you saw that I was using it on a smooth top range, and I've been using cast iron on a smooth top range for years with no issues. I've used it on gas, stoves, regular the eye type stoves, and then of course on smooth tops, and I've never had an issue. So let's take it back over here to the stove. And you don't have to do this, I'm gonna stick it on there back on the eye a couple minutes to let it dry out, and show you what else I do. Sometimes I just get a old rag and I'll dry it out and dry off the bottom real good. Cut my stove off. Now this right here, you don't have to do this. Some people say it's recommended or you should do it. A lot of times I'll just lightly spray it with some Pam cooking spray and then just wipe it back down lightly. And if you see, nice slick black surface. Same thing with this one. I'll just take and spray it a little lightly. And it's not really re-seasoning it, it's kind of just protecting the metal, because if you leave this long enough, they will eventually possibly rust if you've left any moisture on. When you put them up, make sure you've dried the bottoms and all that area really well too. And so if you look, guys, you've got that one nice and slick and black. You've got the smaller one, and it's not great in this camera, but because the lighting isn't that great. But if you look, nice, slick, shiny surfaces. And again, I've never had any issues with using dishwashing detergent. That's kind of a, I don't want to say a myth, but a lot of people, and don't get me wrong, if you are the type person that just adamantly will not use detergent on your cast iron, I understand that. And that's kind of, if that's what mama or grandmama told you to do or not do, then fine. If that's what makes it work for you. But I did want to show you my method, guys. So if you hadn't tried cast iron, try cooking with cast iron. I highly suggest it. It's an awesome product to cook with. Been cooking with it for decades in my family, and we really enjoy doing it and using it. So if you have any questions, post those below. If you've got any experience with this, be sure to share it with us. And as always, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll bring you another video shortly. Thanks, guys.